After a year-and-a-half long investigation into the cause of the Marshall Fire, we now know what caused it, and we know that there will be no criminal charges filed. That doesn't mean there won't be a legal battle, though, moving forward.
Our legal analyst, Whitney Traylor, joins us this morning. And Whitney, of course, with this, again, as you mentioned, no criminal lawsuits, but civilly, we could still see some.
Oh, I would be shocked. We will definitely see civil lawsuits. They decided that there wasn't enough evidence to pursue the criminal charges, but the criminal standard is beyond a reasonable doubt. On the civil suit, it's a preponderance of the evidence, so it's a lower standard. But here, now that the investigation is done, this will just be one part of the evidence. But what they revealed was that there was a fire that started at the 12 Tribes facility, and then at the same time, an unmoored wire from Excel caused some fire particles to start a fire at the same time. And so what the investigation revealed, and I watched the whole press conference yesterday, was that the fires essentially started simultaneously and at some point merged. So that's going to create a real issue on the civil lawsuit, because Excel will definitely get sued. The 12 Tribes will definitely get sued, but Excel is going to be the deep pocket. So the question is going to be, did your fire, there's going to be so many experts, which fire caused which damage to which property, but essentially everybody's going to be looking at Excel.
What would have to be proven in the civil case?
Right. So they're going to, that's one of the issues, is going to be who started the fire and did the fire cause this damage. And so that's going to be a number of experts, because of course, if like the neighbor to the 12 Tribes, Excel's going to say that clearly wasn't our fault. But at what point, and you have to understand this is probably going to be a jury if it doesn't settle, which I would expect it to settle. You know, they're going to be looking at this like the people, they're going to relate to the people who were in their homes. So they're going to be looking to pin this on somebody. But this is not a far stretch. I mean, according to this investigation, they spent 17 months. It was great detail. They went through great detail in the press conference that Excel's unmoored wire was definitely one of the causes, according to this very detailed report.
Curious about the actual players in this fight. If there are those civil lawsuits, could insurance companies be involved as well?
Yeah, that's a good question. And insurance companies will be involved. And it's interesting when you have personal injury, like two people get in a car accident. Well, you see the little old lady at the table and the person who's injured, or whoever the people are.
Right.
And the jury thinks that those are the people who are going to pay, who are making the decisions, but it's the insurance companies. So they're the ones actually deciding who's going to represent them, how much to settle for if they settle, and all that. So here, even though it may be 12 Tribes and Excel as the defendants, and there'll be a number of other defendants. I bet there'll be 10 different defendants, from everybody from a manufacturer to all the way up to Excel. But it's the insurance companies behind the scenes making the decisions, deciding when to settle, if to settle. So either way, this is going to be many years and many, many millions of dollars in litigation and experts.
It's, you know, thousands of hours of investigation. They went through hundreds of tips and videos to come to this conclusion. I think a big part of it is they were saying if Excel did not repair this line, and that's what was causing the electrical arcing, that would be a different story. But it was the high winds.
It was the high winds, and there was no evidence that this particular thing was damaged beforehand. So it wasn't necessarily foreseeable. And also, as it related to the 12 Tribes, they had done a controlled burn to burn some rubbish on December 24th. The fire department came by and saw it and said, okay, this is okay under these conditions. But the investigation revealed 6 days later that flared up again, and that's not necessarily uncommon for embers to stay, you know, hot for
still smoldering
weeks or months, because they didn't put the water down.
Right.
And so my question is, should the fire department have said, okay, we understand you're going to put dirt on it, but you also need to water it down? Right. So could that create some issues? We'll see.
Well, as you mentioned, this isn't going to be finished anytime soon, so we'll have you back to talk a little bit more about that coming up. All right, Whitney, thank you.